Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. You may recognize this, the beautiful Toxicant XM5. I thought I'd do a quick video today because I actually got a package from Toxicant yesterday. Nothing crazy exciting, but actually one thing that they've ended up doing is anyone who bought the XM5, they have sent them this, which is a smaller kind of gas piece, a gas adjustment piece, which controls the hop up. Now, the reason they've done this, and this might be hard to see, is that this is the original right here. Let me just see if I can get that to focus. This is not great, is it? Okay, so this is the original. Let me just undo the suppressor. I might make it easier. So this is the original right here. And as you can see, it's kind of got wings on it. And the problem with these wings is that when you twist it and adjust it, the actual suppressor can only really fit just there, and the gap between the suppressor and the actual gas adjustment or the hop up adjustment is only possible to set it that horizontal way. If you've got it vertical, which is maybe what you need to have it when you've got your actual hop up kind of adjusted in that position, it isn't going to allow that. And so I actually brought that up, I think, to Jaeger Precision and on one of my earlier videos when I first got it. But they actually ended up creating this, or I don't know if this was supposed to be going out with them, but it's obviously a different kind of looking version of the gas adjustment, and it is a lot thinner, so you've actually only got that much diameter, even though it gives you the ability to twist it, and so that means that that should not get in the way of that suppressor as it kind of sits there. So I want to run my XM5 with a suppressor. As you can see here, that is with my PTS Dead Air Sandman with a Smoky Wolf insert, so it will actually smoke when it is firing. And so that is one of the things they sent me. Now, the other thing they sent me is when they were reaching out and sending it, I said, could you actually send me an additional bolt carrier group? Now, the bolt on the XM5 is pretty different. Like, it's not as if it will take a kind of standard VFC, APFG, MCX bolt. It's not like it's going to take a bolt from an MWS, because obviously it doesn't really have that, you know, buffer behind it. But this is a chunky bolt. Like, it's big. I like it a lot because it's got that 6.8 by 51 in there. It's got a powerful spring in it. Now, the reason that I asked for this is, you may think, why do you need another bolt? Is I had a friend who actually was putting an NPAS into this current bolt that I had that came with it. Now, it would have been fine. However, you know, apparently you can't put an NPAS into the stock nozzle. So I had a Guns Modify MWS nozzle that was ready to go. The Federal Concepts NPAS, which apparently is amazing. I haven't been able to test it out quite that much. Future video coming. But we were going to install that, installed the actual NPAS into the gas nozzle or into the Guns Modify nozzle. And then when we were opening up the bolt, he actually ended up stripping the screws to actually take the bolt apart. Now, this was a bit of a nightmare because once you've stripped that screw, trying to get it out is almost impossible. And it did seem like they had glued these bolts in pretty hard. Now, when you remove that, there's two bolts just underneath where the spring is here. And they actually go very deep down into the actual bolt. And so when we opened it up, he was like, I don't know if the hardware is just not that good, or they've actually just kind of like glued it straight in with too much Loctite. But he ended up having to drill out the actual bolts. And so he put better bolts in there, and we put the Guns Modify nozzle in there. Let me just look at that. That's a slight movement there of an actual. So this is the other issue with these, is these little rollers can come off, and so I've just dropped two of those, and I know where one is. Okay, they're both here. So these little rollers come off the top here, and the NPAS that's in here basically is controlling or allows me to, when I twist it with a little hex key through the end here, control the actual power coming out of the nozzle. And so that means that I can have it a higher FPS, a lower FPS, etc. But I haven't really tested it out. And when he'd stripped the screws and we were trying to repair it, I was really worried that I'd taken this $1,600 replica and basically ruined the entire thing. Because trying to find a replacement of these, there are no aftermarket parts that will do it. And obviously with the nozzle, that's not a big deal because you can change out the nozzle. With the actual actual bolt itself, there is no other kind of alternative. So I was really worried that I was going to have this piece of metal that was going to be able to do nothing airsoft wise other than be a wall hanger. But when I reached out to Toxicant, they sent me another bolt. So I was lucky with that. Sometimes getting hold of them, it takes a little bit of a while. So this is the one that has the NPAS installed and the old one, and this is the brand new one that's come out of the box. As you can see here with these bearings, like they just come off. So you do need to be careful when you are removing the actual bolt carrier group from the replica that you actually don't lose them, because if you lose them, I think you could replace them fairly easily. You can find pieces, you know, just from a machine shop or Amazon that would replace them, but it would be kind of like taking your gun out of action for the day because the bolt isn't going to be able to reciprocate properly. Now, what I thought is when this arrived, I obviously don't really need it in the same way that I did. However, what would be a very cool thing to do is just to test out the NPAS. I'm not going to adjust it in this video, but I'm going to show what that is doing with that Guns Modify Nozzle and the Federal Concepts NPAS in it. And then we'll compare it to the stock bolt with the stock nozzle and just see what the actual consistency is like, and if it's better to actually end up changing it out or if it's better to keep it stock, and then we can kind of go from there. So I have got the trusty Ace Tech chronograph. So I'm just going to fire these through here and just kind of give you guys a readout. If you want to buy anything which is kind of airsoft related, please do go to the link down below, because I have like an Evike referral link. So if you can just click on that and then go and buy your Evike stuff as opposed to normally doing it, or save it in your browser, that would be amazing because it really benefits the channel. And I believe you can get these there, so you won't be able to get a Toxicant, but you will be able to get these there. So I'll put a link down below with the referral URL ending. And so if you are thinking about getting a chronograph, just go there and do that. Thank you for the support, guys. That would really mean a lot. So I will first off do it with the stock bolt, which is this newer one. Well, newer, but the one that's actually had no upgrades to it. And so I'm going to place this in here. Again, I don't want to kind of move these, what are they called? The bearings around too much, because obviously if I lose the bearings like that, then to be honest, now I've got a second bolt, I could actually just switch them over, because I don't think I'm going to be able to run both bolts at the same time, because I only have one of these guys, the actual Toxicant XM5. So it would make more sense. This is not real, this is airsoft. This is obviously the very cool way of charging this thing. Also the stock, I kind of mentioned it in an earlier video, but I actually switched this out. This is one of the new Magpul stocks, which is a bit different from anything else that I've had. So I thought, oh, this is a different replica. This is a bit of a different stock. So I think it looks really good on this. I'd love to know if you guys agree, but I really actually like this one. I've gone through a few of them now, so hopefully this will be the one I stick with. Right, guys, so this is the... these are the mags. I absolutely love these mags. This has got green gas in it. It is the EnviroSafe green gas, and it has got 0.25 gram BBs in it. So I have put the chronograph onto 0.25, and so we'll get an idea now of kind of the dual rating and what FPS it's firing at. This is FPS at 0.25. I'll try and do a kind of... in the description below, I'll give you kind of a conversion so that you can see, right, this is 0.25, this is what it is at 0.2s. But obviously the joules are really going to matter a lot more. Okay, so charge it. So satisfying to do that. Right, I've got it on semi. This also is with a suppressor on it. So that is firing at 330 FPS, 325, 318. So we were 330, 325, 318, and that's gone from 1.23 joules down to 1.18 joules. So fairly good consistency. 314, 317, 307, 311, 303, 308, 303, 300, 301, 297, 297, 299, 295, 291, 286, 285, 281, 277, 284, 283, 276, 272, 271, 269, 271. Okay, so that's a full mag that's just gone through, so 30 rounds, or 28, I believe it is. And that is basically ranging from 325 to 271, and from 1.25 joules down to 0.85. So there's definitely some kind of variance there. What I would say was quite interesting is it would kind of stick at the level. It would be like 300, 305, 303, 308. So we'll kind of stick in those bars. Obviously, as this gas mag is kind of running out of gas more, that is going to be, you know, kind of what it is. And as it cools down, again, similarly, that consistency. If you're not firing as regularly as I was there, kind of like every second or 2 seconds, then you are going to have better consistency as the mag kind of heats back up. But that's kind of where we are there, about kind of 0.3 of a joule variance, and it was firing at 320 down to 271. So there's definitely some kind of movement there in terms of the joule ratio. Let me see if I've got the joule ratio. Let me just see. And what I'm going to do actually is just take a picture of this so I can do a quick little so I can do a, what do you call it? I can try and put these numbers in the description for you guys below. So that hopefully will mean that we have that. There we go, 271. That was what we're going to do. We're going to exit this. And okay, so we're going to go back to here. And I am going to put this other magazine in. And I'm actually, first of all, probably going to change the bolt, which is the thing I actually really need to do. Okay. So I had there that kind of bolt release. No, I had released the bolt. Okay. So that is going to be me removing this stock bolt that I have. And then this is the bolt that we have, which is the Guns Modify. And you can see, I think, there. Let me just show you this quickly. You can see there, I think. Oh, and then I've just dropped one of the rollers. I'm not going to show you, but there's a little green NPAS inside there because it's going to be very hard for you guys to see. But this is the Guns Modify Tokyo Marui MWS, or the Guns Modify MWS nozzle with a Federal Concepts NPAS in, and then these NPASs, they're supposed to be very good. I haven't really tested them properly, but generally the consensus that I've seen online is that people really like them. Why this isn't going in. Right, we have an issue right now putting this thing in, which is weird. Okay, there we go. Okay, so for some reason, this is not closing fully. Shouldn't be an issue with the bolt. Maybe the, oh, look what I've done here is I actually ended up kind of moving the Z plate slightly there. So that should be fine now. Yep. Okay. So I should be careful with that. Right. So this is going to be the Guns Modify nozzle with the Federal Concepts NPAS. So we're going to go with 372. So this is firing a lot hotter. 363, 361, 357, 353, 350, 347, 344, 340, 339, 337, 334, 332, 331, 377, I think that might have been wrong, 328, 324, 322, 318, 317, 314, 316, and then I've actually stopped cycling there. Okay, so it just didn't get lock back on that one. So I think that might have just been, I mean, that in terms of the variance there was 370 down to 316. So you've kind of got like a 50, 52, 53 variance, which I don't think is, it's kind of similar, to be honest. It just means that I can have this fire hotter, and that was firing at 370 instead of 320. And the actual, it was kind of firing at 1.3 joules instead of 1.2, and then kind of going down. So that is the kind of variance that we have there. So guys, I think basically I'm kind of seeing it's a similar kind of spread in terms of what the actual drop off is going to be for FPS, but actually the NPAS does give you that option just to increase the FPS. I could actually reduce that, and that does mean that I could also run this as a I could run this effectively as a CQB weapon, so I could go maybe down to 300 or to 280 or something like that if I really wanted to go lower. So that's the big advantage of having an NPAS in there. Obviously, it does take taking it apart, playing around with it, doing a lot of chronoing, so you're going to need one of these if you're kind of playing with that NPAS. But to be honest, I think if you need that variance, great. If not, this stock bolt seems to be really good as well. So anyway, that's me kind of running through that. I hope that's been of value to you guys, and that this has not been a boring video to watch, because I'm sure that can be for some people. I will see you very soon on the next video, and have a great day wherever you are. Goodbye.